Dramatische Musik ist dramatisch. So. So, noch ein Ründchen, Eike, nicht wahr?
Ja.
Noch ein Ründchen hier von der Quest. Den Rest können wir ja morgen weitermachen, nicht wahr? Und ja, weil ich muss mal die Zähne spülen. Beziehungsweise was
Mach
essen.
das mal.
Erst essen, Zähne spülen und dann mal die Haare waschen. Bei lauwarmem Wasser.
Wieso bei lauwarmem Wasser?
Weil den Blutdruck. Heißes Wasser erhöht doch den Blutdruck und das ist nicht gut für Löcher im Zahnfleisch von Weisheitszähnen ziehen. Ja. Aber hey, hoffentlich wird dadurch zumindest mein Commentary besser, weil man keinen Weisheitslochzahn mehr im Maul hat. Nicht wahr?
We're back, my lady.
Ja, das sind wir. Aber ist ja auch meine Schuld, Eike, nicht wahr? Hätte den schon vor 2 Jahren rausnehmen können, aber ich bin ja ein faules Stück. Nee, nicht faules Stück, ich bin ein feiges Stück.
Ja.
Ich hab Angst vor der Operation, ich weiß nicht, Schmerzen, ja, und am Ende war ich Vollnarkose und so. Naja. Ein Glück gibt's Paracetamol.
Oh, you're back a lot sooner than I expected. You mustn't have run into any trouble then. Well, how did it go? What did you come up with?
Ja. Ach ja, übrigens, Tipp an euch, Leute. Macht lieber Vollnarkose und keinen Dämmerschlaf. Ich habe gehört, der soll nicht so gut sein. Zumindest laut den Arzt. Eike, nicht wahr?
Ist das so?
Naja, die haben gesagt, Dämmerschlaf, also diese K.O.-Tropfen, geht zwar auch, aber da ist, glaube ich, irgendwie die Chance, dass du da, wie heißt das, Spasmen kriegst, oder du weißt schon. Atemprobleme oder so während der Betäubung oder ähnlichen Geschichten, weil du bist ja nicht wirklich betäubt. Du bist ja irgendwie nur so, ne? Bist irgendwie kein Bewusstsein, aber bist auch nicht wirklich wach. Verstehst du, was ich meine? Ja, da kann ich eine Gefahr bestehen, weil Vollnarkose ist es besser. Muss natürlich gepiekt werden und so weiter, aber naja. Kannst dafür aufstehen. Ja, weiter.
Dialog.
Actually, we're still investigating.
Wenn
It's
es
just
länger als
that
2 Minuten ist,
we've
rausschneiden.
discovered
Keine
something
Sorge.
strange.
Seltsame Geschichte, ja.
The clues you found have led you back here, in the city?
Something like that. Yeah.
You all look a little dispirited. Whatever you found must not have been very encouraging after all.
Sonst wären wir ja nicht hier.
Why don't you discuss it with me? Maybe I'll be able to say something to cheer you up?
It's okay, my lady. It's not so much about me being upset with my father or anything like that. How should I put this?
Ja, ich bin nicht upset über meinen Vater, wir sind upset über deinen Vater.
So something is wrong. Even the Traveler and Paimon have been uncharacteristically quiet.
Okay, das ist jetzt blöd. Eike, oder? Weil der Traveler nichts sagt.
On any other day, Paimon would have already waved to me with a smile and shouted, Dunyarzard, we're back! So tell me, what happened?
Well?
My lady, please prepare yourself for what we're going to tell you next. It concerns the Master.
The Master? You mean my father?
Nein, wir meinen den Geistermeister.
Okay, I understand. Don't worry about me. I'll listen as attentively as I can.
Zögerlich berichtet Dehya Dunyarzard von den Ereignissen der Nachforschung.
My father has been supplying goods to Dagan al-Akmar?
Yeah, it makes as little sense to us as it does to you. I've never doubted the Master's integrity, so I'm having a real hard time rationalizing how he could ever support an infamous brigade like them.
Vielleicht wurde er falsch informiert.
Maybe he's not actually aware of the full story and just stumbled into the deal by accident.
I can't help but agree with the Traveler.
Huh? You mean you feel the same way, Dunyarzard?
Thank you for sharing all this information with me. Since you've told me everything you know, I should also tell you about some doubts that I've been harboring for quite a while. In the past, I thought that my father hired a bodyguard for me so that I wouldn't run away and get lost. However, there are plenty of capable mercenaries in the Corps of 30. Why did my father go out of his way to hire Dehya?
Ja, ist auch verdächtig, nicht wahr? Warum in einer Stadt, in der an jeder Ecke irgendwelche Wachen stehen, extra ein Leibwächter?
About that. Well, the Homayanis really needed bodyguards, so they reached out to the Blazing Beasts. Later, the master told me that I was one of the best mercenaries he'd ever seen, and that I should stick around to become one of his bodyguards. He offered me a pile of mora, so I just signed on.
Well, but that didn't really answer my question. Just think about it. Why did my father specifically reach out to the Blazing Beasts?
Ja, es gab ja mehrere Söldnerfraktionen.
Maybe the core of 30 just didn't have anyone available, or maybe someone recommended us. I've never given it too much thought.
Ha! Ich hab's durchschaut, Eike.
Hast du das?
Ja, sie haben wahrscheinlich extra deswegen Dehya genommen, damit sie da wegkommt, damit sie nicht irgendwie rumschnüffeln kann. Oder was mitbekommt.
I think I get what you're saying. You'd think none of this was a coincidence.
Precisely. At first glance, nothing seems strange or out of place. But there are many parts of the story that don't actually make any sense. If my father had always been in contact with the Khan al-Akmar, then it would make sense for him to bring Dehya into our house.
You mean the goal all along was to get Dehya to be your bodyguard?
Habe ich doch gesagt.
No, that's too much of a stretch. I cut all ties with my father a long time ago. He has no control over my life anymore.
But that still doesn't rule out the possibility that your father has still been trying to influence your life without you knowing.
So, the Master was not likely an innocent victim in all of this?
Sorry we put all this on you so suddenly, Dunyarzard.
It's okay, Paimon. I should actually be thanking you.
Ich denke, Dunyarzard hält mehr aus, als die Leute mal von ihr annehmen, Eike, nicht wahr?
Weißt du das?
Ja, die denken immer so, oh, die arme Dunyarzard, die war doch mal so krank, oh, die dürfen wir schonen. Aber ich glaube, sie hat mehr drauf, als man annehmen könnte.
Regardless of his reasons, if my father has truly been funding a violent group of mercenaries, then it's my duty to bring him back to reason.
But is that really the right thing to do?
Wer soll es denn sonst tun?
My father has committed many atrocities and deserves all the punishment that he has coming to him. I have zero sympathy for him. However, the Homayani family has treated me with nothing but generosity and kindness.
Da war der Finger ein bisschen zu schnell.
If we decide to investigate this further, we could end up implicating the entire Homayani family. I would be biting the hand that's fed me over all these years.
Ja, wenn die Hand eben falsche Dinge getan hat.
Dehya.
It's alright, Dehya. If anyone were to ask, you could always just say that I'm the one who instructed you to get to the bottom of this.
You don't have to do that, my lady. I'm not conflicted because I'm afraid of taking responsibility. Besides, you're the one we should all be worried about right now.
Hey, it's still too early to give up hope. What was the thing about friendship again?
Wahre Freundschaft baut auf Vertrauen auf. Ja, das wissen wir.
Right, yeah, trust. You said that yourself, Dehya. Besides, there's no point on getting all riled up before we've confirmed all the facts.
Muss auch sehr durcheinander sein. Ja, das bin ich auch.
Thank you, everyone. That makes a lot of sense. I guess I should always remember the trust that I've placed in people. In which case, my lady, could you ask the Master to come out and have a chat with us?
Das wäre das erste Mal, dass wir ihn sehen, Eike, oder? Haben wir ihn mal vorher gesehen?
Nein.
Nein.
Sure thing. I also hope he'll be able to give us a logical explanation.
Usual place? Ah, right.
Was da? Wusste ich's doch. Wish. Ist eigentlich Hutau, während sie diesen Walk mit ihren wenn ich eigentlich mal zwei Worte hintereinander, bin ich auch ein bisschen blöd. Mit ihren Schmetterling macht Eike, da kann sie nicht getroffen werden, ist doch richtig, oder? So. Okay, doch nicht der Bazar, es war... Ach so, die Parkbank, wo Dunyarzard immer gesessen hat. Hey, und die dieselbe Stelle, wo Catherine von Nahida übernommen wurde, Eike. Weißt du es noch?
Ja.
Das war merkwürdig.
Thank you for coming, sir. Please allow me to introduce these two. This is the Traveler, and next to him is his travel companion, Paimon.
Ah, yes. My daughter has mentioned them from time to time. It's a privilege to finally meet them in person.
Er schaut schon böse, Eike. Er kann nur böse sein, nicht wahr? Wie heißt er schaut schon so grimmig.
But we may skip all the pleasantries for now. What is the important matter you wish to discuss with me today?
Ah, ich hoffe wirklich, dass sie das irgendwann mal weiter ausbauen, Eike, oder? Ich meine, die NPCs, die Gestaltung. Oder? Findest du nicht auch? Ich meine jetzt nicht die Klamotten, aber ich meine die Gesichter her. Da ist doch noch wirklich mehr, wie sagt man, so schön Luft nach oben, oder? Eike? Eike. Eike ist wieder abgehauen.
Well, we wanted to bring this transaction record to your attention. There's something on this record that we're all pretty curious about.
Ich denke wohl, ich krieg das nicht mit, was? Erzählt Schasam die Umstände, außer dir Zweifel.
So, that's what you found. Huh. Seems like I can't keep everything from you much longer.
Shazaman, Entschuldigung.
If you wouldn't mind, we'd like an explanation.
Well, it's a long and difficult story. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing.
Das ist okay, wir haben Zeit.
What I do know, though, Dehya, is that the truth will bring you no solace. If anything, it will likely cause you a great amount of anguish.
Wait, me?
Yes, I understand perfectly why you came to see me. And I am touched by your collective commitment to do the right thing. But knowledge always comes at a price. And sometimes, as they say, ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss. Ja, das ist ja wirklich ein Sprichwort im Englischen.
Your father, Kusela, and I both believed that. Of course, you have the right to seek and learn the truth, but I must warn you. The facts of this matter may reduce everything you've built for yourself into sand, blowing in the wind.
Also so wie der es jetzt aufbauen muss, das jetzt ja wirklich die krasseste Enthüllung sein des ganzen ever.
If you must proceed, then Kusela's heartfelt efforts will also fade into the wind like a fleeting mirage.
His heartfelt efforts? I'm sorry, sir, but I'm not sure I follow. I've made it this far in life without a single drop of my father's support. I have my own ideals and ways of looking at the world, as well as people and causes that I've chosen to cherish and fight for. None of these things have anything to do with him.
Lass mich raten, er hat aus dem Hintergrund immer sie beobachtet oder gesteuert.
I came here today to support you as the head of the Homayani family. No warning will change my stance on that.
I understand. Then let me tell you a little story.
Aber nicht so lange.
Our family once needed to take a trip to the desert when Dunyarzard was just a baby. Along the way, we were attacked by bandits. They had superior numbers and quickly overpowered our bodyguards. When all seemed lost, a group of passerby Eremites lent us their support. Those Eremites were Kusela's brigade, Dekan al-Ahmar.
Dann hat er versprochen, dass seine Tochter später seine Leibwächerin für seine Tochter wird?
Kusela's men told me that the attackers were Eremite mercenaries, just like themselves. I was shocked. Why would Dekan al-Ahmar go so far to save us and not spare the fellow Eremites? Kusela was grinning and walked over to play with baby Dunyarzard. She was startled by his unfamiliar face and nearly started crying.
Really? I never knew.
Gut, wer erinnert sich denn bitte noch daran, was er als Baby gemacht hat?
He said that he had no particular reason to help us. He just took pity on us because he had a daughter about the same age. We started talking about our children, and I sensed that he was a devoted father. To repay his kindness, I hired his brigade to help out at our estate for a time and offered everyone generous remuneration.
So, that's what happened.
It was many years before I saw him again. I almost didn't recognize him the next time he came knocking on my door.
Yeah, eigentlich mal ein Flashback, weil ihr wisst ja, wie heißt die alte Faustregel im Hollywood? Na gut, ist nicht eine feste Faustregel, aber show, don't tell, wenn du die Möglichkeit hast.
The man I knew to be strong and healthy had been reduced to a shell of himself. He couldn't even walk anymore without his cane.
So, what happened to him? He was perfectly fine when I left the brigade.
I'm not too sure myself. The only thing that didn't change was his cheery disposition. He said there was absolutely nothing to worry about and that he had gotten into a fight. That was all.
Es muss aber ein heftiger Fight gewesen sein, wenn er danach für Krippen gehen musste.
He then suddenly asked me if Dunyarzard, now that she had grown, would need a bodyguard of her own. At the time, Dunyarzard was going through a particularly severe bout of her Elazar. There was no need for her to have a bodyguard when she could barely leave the house. But he kept coming back to the topic. Come on, it never hurts to be safe. How do you know a bodyguard won't come in handy one day?
Gar nicht im Hintergrund. Ich bin nicht auf die Kamera zu gehen.
I was completely lost at first, until he recommended the Blazing Beasts, and in particular, a mercenary named Dehya.
Ha, wusste ich's doch.
So he was the one who recommended Dehya to you.
Okay, dann war er nicht dafür zuständig, dass er gemeint hätte, dass ausgerechnet sie das sein soll, sondern der Vater. Okay.
Indeed. He didn't say it out loud, but it was clear that he saw Deshret's relics as an evil group who would eventually corrupt every member in their ranks. He was already beyond redemption, but he hoped that he would be able to detach his daughter from the vicious world of mercenary life. If Dehya could stay in my house and keep working as a bodyguard, then gradually her affinity for the desert would decrease, and she'd be able to leave her previous life behind.
Was haben sie sich gedacht? Hätte sie etwa ihr Rest des Lebens auf Dunyarzard aufpassen sollen? Oder wie?
And that's why you offered her such generous compensation?
Yes, but not just because of that. From the moment that he asked me for that favor, I also began to see Dehya as my own daughter. And that's also why I tried to persuade you to stay when you asked for permission to leave. I was willing to spend however much it took. Kusela saved my daughter and I all those years ago in the desert. I could never refuse him entrusting his daughter to me.
He was always like that, acting like he's oh so smart and self-righteous.
Kusela said that he'd reimburse me for a portion of Dehya's fees. I refused to take any more from him, but he'd always send me funds anyway.
Vor allem braucht er das Geld auch gar nicht.
Eventually, I just accepted them as a token of his gratitude. And that went on for a while until I received another letter from him a few years ago. The letter contained a request to help him buy food, weapons, medicine, and even explosive materials.
Müssen wir auch mal einen Sprengstoff in der Wüste. Ah, und der Schritt, Ruinen freizulegen, natürlich.
Wait! Isn't that around the time that Decano Akhmar started becoming more aggressive?
That's right. When I started to hear some nasty rumors, I became wary. I wanted to meet him face to face to discuss things. But by then, he was no longer receptive to my requests to talk. If I had to guess, it's probably because he doesn't want to put Dehya at risk.
Ja, dann hätte er es nicht machen müssen.
That thought occurred to me as well. I figured that he probably came to me for help because he had nobody else to turn to. After some deliberation, I decided to send him some food and medicine. I turned down all his requests for explosives and weaponry.
Explosive und Waffen. Ja, okay.
I am aware that even such a reduced gesture of support could lead to others coming to harm, but I could not simply reject his plea for help. In the end, it probably was the wrong decision. I plugged my ears to the rumors and just chose a solution that made me feel least guilty about myself.
If you can, please tell me where he is now. None of the things he's doing right now make any sense if he's just trying to keep me from getting tangled up in his world. If all he wants to do is steer clear of me, then maybe he shouldn't have brought me into this world in the first place.
Oh no. Dehya, please don't feel that way.
I'm just angry because I can't wrap my head around any of his actions.
Möglicherweise gibt es da noch einen anderen Grund.
Another way? I don't know. I knew him, and he was nothing more than a childish brute. I can't understand what's going through his head.
Ja, du hast dich ja auch bei den Vater hier geirrt, also kannst du auch bei denen, ich meine bei denen von Dunyarzard irren, also kannst du dich auch bei denen, bei ihren Vater geirrt haben.
But I guess you do have a point. We haven't uncovered the whole truth yet. We still need to figure out his exact actions and reasoning for these last few years.
I'll do my best to help. Of course, anything between the two of you would need to be resolved between you and him alone. I don't know Kusela's exact whereabouts. Outside of supplying his brigade with some goods, I tried my best to avoid getting involved any further with him. However, there's a man on the list named Jahre. He used to be a mercenary in the desert and is now a member of the Corps of 30. He's responsible for supplying weapons and liaising with the Dekhan al-Ahmar's merchant caravan. I think he should know Kusela's whereabouts.
Ah, der Kontaktmann.
I've heard that he likes to have a few drinks alone and enjoy the cool wind at night outside the tavern. Maybe you'll be able to find him there.
Ja, wart abends vor der Taverne. Habt ihr euch gemerkt, ja?
Understood. Thank you, sir. Then I guess this is bye for now, unless...
I'll stay and be with my father here. To be honest, I'm still a little dazed and haven't finished processing everything quite yet. My father has indeed done something wrong, but if I think about it, I'm also not sure if there was a right way to handle this problem.
Ja, weil hätte er die ganzen Waren, naja gut, nicht alles, aber zumindest den Teil der verweigert, ihm zu geben, dann wäre der Vater wahrscheinlich in Schwierigkeiten gekommen.
I feel like our only course of action is to turn everything we know over to the Corps of 30 and let them render judgment.
Yes. I am prepared to accept whatever verdict they choose. It's time to face my mistakes.
Super Abend? Okay, das wissen wir bereits. Ja, warte auf. Okay, ach, ist ja gleich da vorne. Okay, praktisch. Okay, Leute. Ah, ja, Eike ist ja nicht da, nicht wahr, Eike?
Doch, bin ich
Auf
die
am-
ganze Zeit.
Ach so, du hast dich totgestellt, ja?
Ja.
Ja, ja, wolltest wieder sehen. Hey, mal sehen, ob er auch ohne mich kommentieren kann. Kann ich doch. Manchmal. Ja, okay, gut, dann stellen wir dann die Uhr auf Abend vor. Wahrscheinlich 18 Uhr oder 20 Uhr rum wahrscheinlich. Und dann treffen wir ihn dann. Und reden ihn mal aus. Ne, Quatsch, fragen ihn mal aus. Aber das sehen wir in der nächsten Folge, Eike, nicht wahr? Ja. Warum frage ich dich überhaupt über Ja? Ich mach das natürlich einfach. Das ist mein Video. Okay, also Leute, bis dann. Ja, und dann will ich euch ja erklären, was überhaupt eine Mantichora ist. Nicht wahr, Eike? Haben wir ja gesehen am Anfang des Kapitels. Also bis dann.